All right, guys, let me see if I can show you this. What I'm going to try to do is show you how to draw your character from a bird's eye position, looking down. I've showed you enough how to just draw the character, straight on. So I want to give you that looking down position so that you can draw your characters in a cool kind of way. So you can do a little bit more than that. So now there's no real steps. Like I showed you how to do the beetle, and there are steps to doing that to get it right every time. But there's no real steps. And I looked on YouTube to see if anybody, number one, showed you how to do this and, found a way to do it. But a lot of people, they don't. I mean, I don't want to say this, but a lot of videos or a lot of artists, when they do tutorials, their main goal is to show you that they can really draw. And yeah, I'm not taking anything away from these guys. These guys can draw, but their teaching is a little short. They start out showing you a couple things, and then they just kind of like let it go, and then they just start drawing these beautiful pictures, which they are. So I said, let me try and see if I can figure out a way to show you guys how to do this and make it come out right every time, which we'll see. All right, I had to cut it for a second and get a drink of water. Now, the thing is, the body's a cylinder. If you can look at it as a cylinder, and I've showed you this in other videos, if you take the cylinder and you do it straight up like this is what you're going to see. You're going to see this right here. But as you start to turn it, you'll see that circle from the top and the bottom. So if you think of a person like that, then that's the first step. You got the first step down. So the hard part is thinking about how you're going to put the arms and legs and the rest on there. And also, how much of an angle do you want to see from that person, or how much of a up angle are you going to go when you do your drawing? And I'm shocked the camera hasn't really blurred on me yet. Don't wish it away. So those are the three things. So if you start out with this, and don't think that, oh, once I start this is going to be perfect, this is how it's going to be. You're going to have to draw this over and over and over and over until you get comfortable with it, until you find your niche or your habit or your good feeling about this. But the thing that you can do is either use a square, and that'd be the same thing. Let's just do it this way, because you're kind of like going in perspective, a square or a cylinder, whichever one you're comfortable with. I'll do both, kind of. I'll do one square and one cylinder. So find out your angle of the person, and you want to come at it from a kind of a 2-point perspective kind of thing. Did you blur on me? No. You want to kind of have it this way and this way, your 2-point perspective, and then you're going to go down because you're seeing the top of it. So you're going to go down, and it's going to get a little narrower. Like that. So you don't want to have it like straight like that. It just no, you don't want to have it like that. It looks too much like a building. So you want to get on that 2-point perspective treadmill to do that. So let's do the cylinders like I was saying. So we have this one, and you want to go down, because if you're looking up, you're going to be looking down. If you're looking up, you're going to be looking down. What? If you're above something, you're looking down at it, and it's going to narrow. It's going to really narrow. Like if this was a tall building, and you were way up there, and it was like skyscraper kind of, it's going to look like that. It's going to, be like that. It's just going to get narrow. So we have this one. We're going to go a little opener, a little wider, a little shorter distance. And maybe even more sort of like that. Now, I'm not saying this is going to work out 100% because I'm still trying to work it out myself, but these are steps to show you how you can get it, make it a little easier for you to get. So if you take these, my first thing that I'll do, I'll take these are my angles that I want. The first thing I do is I'll put a head on this thing. So this is going to be the shoulder. So I'll put a head on it, the size that I know that the body will fit. So the more it turns over, the more that head is going to come into this circle. So with this one, it'll be, I would say, about right here. And this one's going to be probably about right there, almost past the middle part. And you just have to kind of feel it, because you don't want a tiny head like this and wide shoulders. I mean, you're not going to completely use this, but this is kind of like a guide plane for you. So like that. Now see, the problem has always been, how do you add the feet and the legs? That's always been a problem, and I'm still trying to 100% try to figure that out, but I can give you some short tips. Same thing with the square. It's the head. Put the head, and because the head is kind of high, you're going to put the neck. So you center the line here, which is going to be the center of your neck. So your head is going to be here more. But beyond that, let me show you the next step that I always do. I always do the head, then I'll do the feet. I'll put the feet on this thing. So you imagine this guy's like in a box. Put the head and the feet. Then I'll go for the torso. Now, because you're above, remember the torso is shaped like this. Doing the beetle, the collarbone, the stomach, the rib cage here, up and down. It shows you with a split, and then the neck there. Now, the more that you rotate that, the more this line is going to turn into like a V, like that. And that shows that you're seeing more shoulders and more arms. So same thing with this. The neck, the center. Then you're going to have to do that. You have your, your delts are going to come right here and right here. You do this. Then you put that tuna can. And for you people that are new, you're like, what's a tuna can? Okay, you have this, and you have this little piece right here, which is basically the shape of a tuna can of tuna fish. How long were you doing that, bro? How long? I did a video, my last video, it took like 45 seconds for this thing to actually do right. So hopefully it didn't take too long. It wasn't blurred for long. So basically when you put the body together, and I'm jumping because I have to jump from here to there to here to there so that you will understand, and it makes it easier, especially if you're a new drawer and it's kind of your first time drawing. You have pieces to the body, which is like a puzzle. It just doesn't like this white paper. It's nothing really to grab, to focus on, so it blurs. So a piece of the puzzle, you have your head, you have your torso, you have your waist, you have your hips, you have your legs, 1, 2, and the knee, 1, 2, and the knee, same thing. You have your delts, you have your biceps, and you have your forearms. So it's just basically pieces of the puzzle. So when you have these pieces, in order to look above it or look below it, you have to know what these shapes look like when you turn it left, right, upside down. So this piece right here, which I call the tuna can, which is easy, and I always use shapes that people are not afraid of to teach you how to draw. If I say draw a house, you'll say, oh, okay, I know how to draw a house. You might not be perfect, but you know how to draw a house. And there's your little house. Some people are a little better, so they'll say, okay, let me make that 3-dimensional house here. And I put a little chimney on there, which people always put chimneys on there wrong, but that's okay. So there's your house. And that's why I call this the upside down house. It's an easy shape for you to do. This thing here is just a circle and then that. So when you turn this looking down at it, this is what it's going to look like this. So you take this cylinder and you stick it on top of that. It's going to look like that. If you take this house and you look at this house from above, and you're saying this is a cylinder, it's almost like the tuna can with the points on it, like that. So you take this cylinder, which is going to be behind there, and you come down, and then it's like that. So the more you have it above, the more of a circle you're going to see. So this would be the same thing here. And the same thing with the legs. The legs are going to be round like those cylinders. So got that out the way. Same thing here. So you have this tuna can here. Since it's stuck, it's glued onto the bottom of this oval, you're going to see that. And then you're going to see the house, upside down house, center line, come back, and then there. Now see, this is the easy part. The hard part is doing the legs. Now the legs are usually what? if I do the legs here, it'll be really short. And that's the problem with a lot of people that have trouble doing the arms and legs because they're too short. So you're going to have to be able to adjust the length that you really want. So this is why I say practice this. Don't try to get it right the first time, because when you're doing the legs, where's my first paper? It's just a cylinder. Now, how much of an angle is it? So if I did this cylinder here, let's just do this. Let's say this is the other end of your leg where your calf is. So, and I did a foot. So here's my foot right here. Just say this is my foot right there. So if I angle this, or we start to go over top of it, you're going to see like this. And then again, here's my foot. If I go even more, you're going to see this, more open more, and less of this. And then here's my foot. Foot is going to be a little longer because you're looking over it. And the same thing if I go completely over top of it. So you just chop this guy's leg off and you went completely over it, and then here's your foot right here. So it all depends on the angle that you're doing your drawing on. Now, I know you're trying to blur. I know you're trying to see. So with this, let's round this off. Remembering everything is a cylinder here. So if I did this first part here, and this is one reason why I put the feet here, so you'll know if that's going to be a little too short or too long. But let's just go with this, and then we'll do these because sometimes these are a little more easier to do. So you're doing that cylinder. Let me get a thing. You're doing basically this cylinder right here. Like that. You're foreshortening it. Then there's your knee, and then you're foreshortening the other one here. Then there's your foot. Like that. Same thing over here, because you already have your feet, so you know where the end of your leg is going to come at. So if I do my knee here, going the same way, the knee is going to be here. So which means you're going to have to do your cylinder. I'm going to draw through it like here. Here, that's going to come over top of that, and then your cylinder underneath here and here. And then you have your foot like that. And then you have your hips here, your tuna can, which is actually like your hip, your belt, and then this. So the hard part is doing your legs and making sure your legs are long enough for, or your arms are long enough for your character. So since I did this, let me go ahead and do the arm. Now, an easy step, and this is one of the things, is your wrist comes down at your crotch. So if you do your crotch, if you do a line wherever your crotch is, if your arm's coming down here, your hand is going to be underneath that line. So like that. So, and the other side too. So by you, not prejudging, while you're pre-placing a couple of the important parts, the rest should come out pretty easily. So then because what is it that I think your bicep comes right around here. Don't quote me if I'm wrong. It comes right down around where the bottom of the rib cage. So if you do your bicep here and you do your tricep, you do your forearm here, you pretty much got your distance right. Pretty much got your distance right. What kind of English is that, brother? So it turns out something like that. As I say, you're going to have to kind of play with it because it's not all square, it is round. And then of course, you know that your chest is just above this little mountain right here. So that goes around and then it comes around to the side. So you use this as a side, as a turn point right there. So that's using a square. But if it's easy for you to use a square, practice that. Just practice it over and over and over again. But if it's easier for you to use a rectangle, what is this? Cylinder, by all means use the cylinder. Of course, I say again, center line. You have your cylinder. This is the angle that you want. This is the angle that you want. You don't want this angle, you don't want this angle, whatever angle you want, you decide by the opening, drawing the opening. Then, as I say, put the head where it's going to be. Put the neck. The neck is going to be at your collarbone. Let's just say this is your collarbone right here. This little piece right here. This is going to be your collarbone. Your neck or maybe not. We'll see. Your neck is going to be right at that point is your collarbone right there. Now, again, as I said, draw your feet. That determines where you're going to stop at with your legs. Again, let's just say this is my back shoulder here. You already determined how wide you want your shoulder by the size of your head. So if I did something like this and this, down, and I put a little tiny head there, that wouldn't work. That's not going to work. So you have to kind of gauge the size of your head by the size of your character. Now, if it's like a Hulk kind of thing, you want wider shoulders, and you're probably going to go down more, almost like drawing a cup. And then you can have your little head, and then you're going to have your big shoulders and your humongous arms, but we're not trying to draw the Hulk. So, and then with this, I turned it from being an oval to more of like, not more round, kind of more of a, that shape, more of an oval shape versus round. So anyway, again, we have that. So we want to draw our, do you need to take a break and eat a cookie, Brian? Torso here. You don't want it way down. This is when you have to kind of like eyeball it to say, okay, since I'm looking down at it, the torso is not going to be oblong like this. You're going to kind of shorten it like that. As I say, you're going to have to play with it. You have your collarbone, and then you have your delts right here. And your delts are just circles for now. And I'll show you on my little dummy guy in a minute. You have your mountain, so you're going to do the same thing you do with the other, when you're doing the beetle. If you have no idea, if you are new and you are trying to figure out what in the world I'm talking about, the beetle and tuna can, you'd have to go back to some of my old videos. As I said, I try to draw things with shapes, makes it a little easier for people to understand and not be so afraid of. And then the chest is just above that, but you're going to have it really close to this, where normally, if it was like this, the chest is going to be maybe up here, but because you're tilting it down, the chest is going to come forward. And the more forward the chest goes, the more it's going to cover this. And we'll do that in these two examples. So here and then right here is where it's going to turn and go up, and it's going to connect and go under the delt. So we have that. Now, of course, the tuna can is going to, because it's how can I say that? How can I look at that? Because it's going to go behind this. So if you have this, or you have this stacked on it, it's not going to be here. It's going to go behind it. It's going to kind of be like behind it. Hopefully you can understand that when I start drawing it. So where's my blue pencil? So we're going to have just that piece right here, because the rest of it is going to go behind it. This is what I'm saying, it's going to go behind it. It sits on top of it. So you're only going to see, where's the bottom of my stomach? Is this. Depending on how big your waist is, that you're going to see this. So let's get that blue out of here. Then you're going to have your house. So it comes down here, and because your house is behind this as well, high up, it's not going to be long. Did I have a drawing? It's not going to be long like this. It's going to be short because it's going to be tucked behind some things. So it's going to be way up here behind it, and because you're angling it the same way you angle this coming down, it's going to be shorter. And it depends on the angle that you draw your first cylinder on. So this side is going to be short. Your sides are going to be short. Okay. Then you do your legs. Now, what you can do is you can just go straight from here to here, kind of make it easy, and then kind of figure out where's your knee. You're gonna see more of this part than you do of that part. So you don't really want to put your knee in the middle. It's like a little below the middle, and then you can draw the oval. And I'll put the knee underneath that oval because remember it's stacked on top. And then the same thing with this cylinder. This cylinder is going to come around. So if this is the cylinder, this is your back circle, and this is your front circle here. So this is going to be your front circle. And as you see, it goes around. I shouldn't have done that first one. I'll do it. I'll show you in the second one. And it goes down to the foot. So again, this is my knee. And this knee goes behind this cylinder. And so does this cylinder. It's going to be here, open, and it's going to go like behind it. And it's all the same kind of opening. So if I did top like this, the bottom should be like that. The other part, every part should be just as round, unless you bent the knee in the opposite direction. So it should be like this, coming down, and then there. And then you just add your calves. Just add some curves to that. And then again, when I say with your hand, with the arms, are you tired? So this is going to actually curve in here because your delts are shaped like this, and I'll show you in a second. Your delts are, they go around your back really, and they come in at an angle. For the sake of an argument, I always say draw the circle first, but it's going to be shaped like this. So then your arm is going to be that cylinder as well. Remember, this is going to get smaller. As it goes away, it's going to get smaller here. So you want to stop it right about here. And remember, the crotch, your wrist stops at the crotch, so this is where you want to put your hand. These are the telltale signs. By putting your foot here first, putting your hands there, these are like telltale signs of where to stop. So you have that, which is there, and then you have this other cylinder, which connects to there. And then you just add some shape to it. And then you pretty much have that bird's eye drawing. And I'll go do these two real quick, and then I'll show you some parts of what I'm saying with my dummy. You have that. And then you may need to bring the head down a little bit more, depends on, as I say, the angle. Which is why I say play with it before you even, attempt to try to do something and say, oh, this is going to be cool for my character. And I'm going to, as soon as I finish it, I'm going to put my suit on him and it's going to be not, no, just work with it first and see what you have. And then, but once you make all this stuff round, this stuff, it has to be round. Like if this was his belt, it has to be round. There's some roundness to it, but it goes up like that. These legs have to be round. That tells you and shows people that it's a bird's eye view. But just by doing this, they know right away that's a bird's eye view. So I'm not going to detail this anymore. I could have pulled the hands back a little bit more, but if you try to pull the hands up or whatever, same thing, same little principle. You have this here. Always draw the circle, draw the cylinders. Like your back circle right here, your front circle right here. Front circle, depending on how much you want to show. Maybe a little ball in there. Back circle, front circle, and it's got to come. Since it's coming to you, it's going to get wider, like that, and then you put your hand. However, a hand would be going forward. I guess it would just be thumb is going to be here, fingers. Like that, and then you work on your chest and so forth. But by doing the cylinders, it makes it a lot easier. So, same thing with this. Where am I losing my voice? I have my head. My neck is going to come here. We have the neck stop. That's going to be the collarbone. You don't necessarily have to have it all the way down here, but you just know that you're losing some neck the higher you look. Like right here, you really wouldn't see any neck if you saw any neck at all. So you see this at this point, it comes to a point, collarbone, and then your shoulders. So right here, center line, you're gonna have your chest. Your chest is gonna take up a lot of space, shall we say? Oh, draw my feet, gotta draw my feet, gotta draw my feet. So then you have your delts, you have your chest, we have your circle. You have to gauge the circle because you have to gauge the size of that circle or that oval first. Then because you're leaning forward, you're gonna start seeing more chest and less of this down here. You're still gonna see some, but you're not gonna see all of it that comes there. You're gonna be cut off like right about in here somewhere. So then again, you're gonna have the tuna can or that waist. Then you're gonna have, and notice I'm not way out here. This is just kind of like guidelines. Then you're gonna have that, and you could do that round if you want to, that upside down house. Just add a point to it. Then you have you have the circle back here, so you're doing the bottom circle here. And this is where you have to gauge how long these are. And that's the part that I was trying to see, has anybody really discovered that secret to know how long or short these have to be? But you can't because, you know, your angles change everything. So you have your knee, which is going to be really tucked behind there. And then, of course, you have that other part of the leg, which is go behind there as well. So calf, and then that. And then, of course, again, what we say, your wrist. So your hand is going to be here, below that. Then you're going to have your forearm. What I do is I kind of like do the forearm first because I like to have that long enough to work. So if I just do this and then I do that forearm, remembering that this is going to come down, then I'll do my bicep like that. And then you have that. Now once you start moving and kicking your legs and stuff out, then that's a whole different story, because you're not really looking down so much on it as much, especially if this leg comes up. And maybe say like this leg steps out, then you are still looking down on it, but it's not as much because it moved out of that line, shall we say. Something like that, you know, but that's a whole nother story. I want to get you to get this first. And since I did that leg, let me just do this. And you have your shoulder. Once you get high up like that, you're going to have see your shoulders. And of course that comes to the chest. And as I say in some other videos, a lot of times I'll have this just one piece. I like to look at this as just one piece, like shoulder pads for when you're playing football. Keep that all in one piece. And a little bit of lat. And then this comes in. And remember, it's going to be really, really, really close to that. Your abs are going to be here, and your abs are going to be kind of like really close to one another because you're like looking down. And you have your waist, love handle, then you have your hips, then you have your legs. But the whole thing is, everything is behind something else. And I'm still trying to figure out how I can explain that. I had a tennis ball, but we'll do this last one. And let me show you this dummy before I actually do this last one and lose it. Okay, so this is my little, it's not little, it's Feisten, I think it's called, figure. And for those of you who have seen this for the first time, this is a really great reference. And they had the female, but I'm not going to show you the female because I got demonetized showing you the female because, yeah, it's just a naked female. Rubber. This is rubber. This is like really firm, really, really good, firm, sturdy. And it does a split. Yay! It does a split. at that. Anytime I buy a figure, this first thing I do, will it split? You know, so if you want to try to do like a side kick or something like that, well, I'm going to show you. If you're doing like a side kick, you know, I want that thing to be able to do a side kick. Yeah, boy, yeah, kicking up in the air. Okay, so sorry, geeked out for a second. Anyway, as I say, if anything you can get for reference, if it's a cheap G.I. Joe doll or whatever, G.I. Joe figure or whatever, use that as reference as best you can until you learn how to draw, because it's just muscle memory. I won't get into that. So when you turn this thing straight up, this is all you're going to see is this part right here. This kind of like almost, if you can see these collarbones and it goes back there, it's kind of like going into a diamond shape, almost like into a diamond shape. My camera is straight above, so forgive me if you really can't see this. And then you see coming out. So the more, let's see if I can get it on this angle. If I had it like this, you see how much chest you get and how close it is to this piece right here. Now if I tilted it up more to be like more in this other angle, you'll see like the legs taking them really small, the knee, and then how the calf comes out, and then there's the foot. But what was it? The main thing I wanted to show you? Oh, the chest. As you come up, this chest is going to cover up. I got light behind me. This chest is going to cover up all of this. The more you come up, so you'll miss all this. You get a little bit of the crotch and the hip, and then it goes into the legs, and then of course remember what I said, your crotch is here, so your wrist is always going to be like right there around the crotch, no matter how at what angle it is. If you can find the bottom of your crotch and you take your line straight across there, you've got your wrist, unless you bend your arm up. And then if you do that, you're taking it out of that line of sight. And one thing I want to say, if you look at the delts, I always draw the delts as a round circle in the beginning, which is pretty much like that. Now, when you start going up, you see the delt is like right here, and it goes way in the back. It's like almost halfway to the back. Let me see if I can turn and get some more light. Your delts are way back here. It stops way back here. So it's kind of like a V, and then you have that circle. So it's kind of like this, and then like that, because they are like way in the back here. And it goes up at this angle instead of this circle. So if I did it like this, the more I see, the more you see what, the more shoulder you see, it's going to come down like this collarbone. And then your delts are going to be like this. It's going to angle like that. And then that bicep is going to go under this V. Wherever this point is, it separates your tricep from your bicep. And then you go from there. But it's going to be like that. Same thing here. You're going to have this little V, and then your tricep, your delt is going to be like that. And then your bicep is going to come out. So the more up top you see, the more of this almost diamond shape you're going to have. Remembering the neck is right here. The neck stops here into a V. You see how this neck is? Get it on camera. It comes here and it goes up. So right where this little dip is, your collarbone goes this way. I went right on this, but this thing gets so dirty. It's about $110 on Amazon. It might have went down to 90 or maybe 80. I think I saw it 80 sometimes, but it fluctuates. And this is what is this? This is I think it's a suntan. They have certain colors. You have a pale and you have a natural. And I think this is a suntan because it was like a darker color for shadow. So if I need to do shadow drawing, I'll know where my shadow is because the whole thing is a little darker. But I just lost what I was saying. I was talking about this. This comes into that more V shape right here, whereas your traps. And this is your traps. This comes all the way down, all the way back here. This is all one big piece, and it goes up into your neck. So let me do this real quick now that you know this. And if I remember what I was going to say, I'll say it again. So we have this. So your neck is going to come here. Remember the V, where your collarbone is going to go back instead of straight across. You're going to have that diamond shape, and of course your delts are going to be here. And this is not going to be affected as much as this in foreshortening. So you're still going to have this basically your right size. So as I said about this being one piece, same thing here. Your chest is going to come out, and down, and this is going to be one piece, and everything else is going to be kind of tucked under the chest. So like that. So this is basically, I just did this kind of like in one piece. Breaking my point, this stuff is expensive. Like that. So this part here, you won't see that because your chest is covering it. Again, center line, draw your feet. So, and this is where you have to place your the crotch area here, because you won't see it, because again, you won't see it once it turns up. Most of that chest is going to be there. You may see just the tip, just the tip. I don't know why that was funny, but it was funny. So yeah, you won't see that because this chest, especially if the person has a massive chest, or if it's a woman with a breast, then you won't see any of this depending on the angle. So I think my angle is kind of like right about like this. So you'll see, and my monitor is dark. You might be seeing more than I can see, but my monitor is picking this up dark. So yeah, so you won't see any of all of this up in here. All of this up in here, you won't see it when it's tilted like that. Okay, so remember that. So you're gonna have to kind of judge how much of this you're gonna see and how much of you're not gonna see. Then your legs are gonna come down, so you're gonna see the top part of the leg here, which is gonna cover majority of everything else, because this is one big old muscle here. So basically you're just gonna do one oval or half a circle, kind of like that. The knee is gonna be tucked under here, and then you're just gonna get a little bit of calf like that. I just had like a flashback, like a deja vu, like I did this before. I don't know. So it's going to be like this, and then you have your foot, and then you have your other foot. And remember, your crotch is here, so your hand is going to be here. Crotch is here, so your hand is going to be under that line of the crotch. And again, just same way you did the leg, you're going to have one stacked on top of the other. Stacked on top of the other. It's like kind of like doing a snowman. If you did a snowman like that, and then you started looking, if you looked at that snowman from straight down, if you had a drone, it would be like this. Those three. But if you angled it where you weren't looking straight down, it would look like this. Some of that would be behind the head, and then some of this would be behind that the body. And that's the same thing with the legs. You're going to have this. Oh, we did the legs already. Same thing with the arms. You're going to have this bicep coming down, and then the forearm is going to be behind here, coming down like that. So you're going to have the bicep and the forearm coming down like that, going into the hand. So if the hand is like right here, say this is your hand. This is your hand. This is your wrist right here. So that arm is this is your whole hand right here without this part right here. That's a goofy looking hand, I know. Is that better, Brian? A little bit. So that's my hand. That's my whole hand. This is the thumb, this is the palm, and this is my wrist. So that wrist is going to come down past this part right here and way down into this. That way it makes it look like you're looking down on it by cutting into the meat. And that's the only way I can think of saying it now. You cut into it. So if my hand is here already, looking at it from above, where's my thumb? My thumb is here, my finger's here. You're going to come right all the way down into that hand. And that hand is going to be below that crotch line. Like that. So as I say, once you start walking your character and doing stuff, moving and putting the hands up, it becomes a whole different ball game. So if you put the hands up, like I said, your delts, it's going to come out like that, depending on how close you want it to the camera. So if this guy was flying, it would be like that, and his feet would be more down. It's the flying trash can man. His costume is a trash can. Why, Brian? Why? I don't know. Maybe I'm tired. When I get tired, I start laughing at just the stupidest stuff. So this is Trash Can Man. And you're actually going to draw a Trash Can Man. Yes, right. So his costume is a trash can. He gets in the trash can because he was a homeless guy and he had powers. And the only way it would work is if he gets in that trash can, get a little bit of leg and his feet, and he can do whatever he can. That trash can's got to have like a little hole in the lid so his arms can come out, and then he can fly, and he does trash can superpower stuff. Yeah, trash can man. And of course, he got to have a little mask because nobody want to know. You don't want nobody to know he's flying in a trash can. Trash can. We got a little hair. Anyway, enough of the geeking out. Hopefully, you understand that. Let me try to ink this a little better. So we have your shoulders, neck. Well, you won't see much of your neck, head here, shoulders, collarbone, and I'll show you that shoulder thing in a second. That. Trash can man. Yeah, okay. And the same thing with the bicep. The bicep is going to go way into the forearm, and I think I told you that. The forearm is going to go way right behind the bicep. So you won't see lats. Your waist will be here. Your hips will be here, and your legs will be here. Your knee is going to be here, undetectable, and then your calf is going to come out because that's going to go behind this too, just like the snowman. And I want to thank my camera for not blurring on me anymore because my last video gave me hell like that. So yeah, now you kind of understand. So if he's looking up, he's looking at Trash Can Man fly by. He's like, what in the world? So yeah, don't geek out. Okay, so these are the tips to doing your character, and I said I was going to show you your shoulders. You have shoulders that come down. This meat, where is it? Like right here. This meat here goes down. Yeah, so yeah. I lost the whole train of thought. So these are the tips. As I say, one more time, going over it real quick. Find the angle you want. Find the angle you want. Use this. You can slim this down. Don't make it so round. Kind of make it more oval, oblong. I guess that's it. I haven't used that word in a long time. Put your head where it's supposed to be. Put your feet down. These are the first steps. And wherever you put your crotch, your hand should be underneath, and the rest is good because you know your delts are going to be right here. You can do this if you need be, just to keep going. And same thing here, if you need be, just to do what you got to do. And then you do your oval center line, which should have been first, and then your waist, and just a quick something. Boy, you lost. I lost it just that fast. Like that, and of course your head, and then you're going to get some neck. Remember that neck is going to be wherever the end of that neck is. That's where your collarbone is going to be. And this thing is like a V, and it goes around your back. Just remember that. And it cuts in like this. It doesn't cut straight up. It cuts in at an angle like that. And then it's your chest. Your chest is going to be round too. But a lot of times I'll drop the chest down a little bit like that, and then round it off to give them that like massive chest. And then you have this. And then you have your abs, and then you have this coming up, and then you have that, and you have this, and the whole 9 yards, and then you're finished. Yeah. Wow, you didn't even see that because it was off camera angle. Okay, all right, that was my mistake. Everybody was screaming at me. My mistake. Once again, this is why my videos are so long. So look at my camera more, my monitor more. Once again, you have this. This is going to be the width of your shoulders. You have your head, where you want to put your head. You put your delts, where you want to put your delts. You put your feet, where the feet need to be at. So, of course, again, you're going to have this. You're going to keep this kind of like the same size. Center line, where your neck comes down at. Your collarbone goes into this, which is a V. Into that, which is a V. Is your chest coming around. So this is how much you have left of that, your torso. So you're going to have this here. That's all you got left. Your tuna can, which is just think of a big, thick belt. And coming from behind that, you have a little bit of waist. Just not much. It's not going to go down too much. And then you have your legs. One big half watermelon thing, knees here. And the other half It's like that. Now, like I say, once you do that enough, you'll get it. Your hand is going to be right here. Like I said, I usually like to do this one first. It's just me. And then I put the bicep there. Yeah, and the more you look down on it, you won't see any arm, any bicep. You might see just a little bit of hand or something down here. If you're looking like straight down on it, you'll see all bicep, chest, bicep. You see all delt, chest, maybe a little bit of bicep. I know I just jumped subject. Delt, chest, remember one piece. The more higher I have it, the more one piece I like to keep it. You might see just a little bicep, a little bit of forearm, and then a little bit of the hand, like that. Bicep, forearm, and then the hand, and maybe you see some crotch, maybe, and then some feet, like that. So that, I mean, that's like straight on, straight up, like that. So yeah, again, bicep. Where's my hand? My hand is going to go down here. Then I have this, and then I have my bicep. So this bicep is only so long, so but I like to have this maybe not longer, but I like to get this in there right. And then whatever's left, I'll give it to the bicep. So yeah, that should cover it. If you like this video, if you've been looking for this kind of tutorial, let me know and just say, hey Brian, you are the greatest. Thank you very much. I can draw my characters. I can go home and go to sleep, and I can think about Trash Can Man. So yeah, that's gonna be it. So I don't want to go over it again because that's when my videos are long. Where did my paper go? There it is. Yeah. So okay, that's it. He's waving goodbye, and Trash Can Man is coming to save the day. So this lesson is over. Throw my pens down. I will see you guys in the next lesson. Yeah. See you.